The Jets are where quarterbacks go to die. It's just terrible. And I don't know why. I don't explain it. It just happens. So that's what's so frustrating. And yeah, so I root for those guys that have to fight through.
Everyone's talking about the Patriots against the Seahawks. And do you think Seattle will redeem themselves again? Or, I mean,
They should. They're the favorite. They look unbeatable. They've got a great defense. They run the ball well. Sam Darnold's playing the best football of his career. He's not turning the ball over. He looks comfortable. It's like they should. But this reminds me so much of when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They won a snow game on the tuck rule. And this was an ugly 10-7 win in the snow with all the garbage that went on and it just feels like a Cinderella season for them. You know, that big turnaround. Drake May's playing fantastic football, whatever. But if you're laying money on it, you got to be saying Seattle's going to win, right? But there's just a part of me that's saying, this year is just reminded me too much of that first Tom Brady Super Bowl.
Sam's story is so remarkable, so phenomenal. It's kind of like the story of the season for a lot of people. What are your thoughts on how he's...
I love it for Sam. Yeah. I covered Sam in college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did Notre Dame games, so USC would play Notre Dame and sit down, interview. I loved him, his family, they were great. But he struggled with the same type of things then that he struggled in his beginning of his NFL career, was that he doesn't give up on a play. Hello, that's me too. I threw some terrible interceptions, right? But that you're trying to constantly, and he ended up turning the ball over a lot. He'd make a lot of great plays, but turn the ball over a little too much, this, that, and the other thing. Then he finally gets it all going in the right direction. He bounces he's got to earn it. That's another part of it. I got a real chip on my shoulder about the guy that's a first round draft choice, anointed the guy, and just cruises. You know, he can make his mistakes early, and he's our franchise guy, and off we go for a 15-year career. And he's had to earn it again. He had to come back and fight back, and then he wins 14 games in Minnesota, and they unload him. It's like, what the heck are you thinking about? So now he's just turned it in back-to-back seasons, done it now in Seattle, and I root for him. I root for guys that have had to bat. Like Drew Brees and I are really good friends. Drew was not anointed the guy, even though he was a first-round draft choice. I was starting ahead of him in San Diego initially. When Drew took over, he struggled initially. They basically gave up on him and drafted Phillip Rivers, and then he got injured. He beat out Phillip Rivers, had a great season, and took us to the playoffs. But he gets injured, and then he has to fight back and go to New Orleans, and everything happens for him. I love the guys that have to fight for it and prove people wrong. And that's what Sam's been doing.
Do you see parallels between you and Sam? I mean, you fought hard. You went from the NFL to CFL, back to NFL. You had to
and you didn't have
be that
easy.
person.
Some people really tried to drag
you. You got to be resilient.
Yeah.
You really do. And Sam's resilient. He's fought through, I'm sure, especially his Jet years where they're just trashing him and giving him so much crap. And I mean, it's funny. We on our podcast, we do our picks every week. And I wind up having a really good year picks wise because I just picked against the Jets every week. Who's playing the Jets? Who's playing the Jets? You know, I said it 4 years ago. The Jets are where quarterbacks go to die. It's just terrible. And I don't know why. I don't explain it. It just happens. So that's what's so frustrating. And yeah, so I root for those guys that have to fight through.
What was the hardest part for you in your career? I mean, you went through it, but there must have been one that particularly turned your story around for yourself. What was that for you?
You know, I had success initially in the NFL as far as wins and losses, but I was not seen as a starter. So I come to the CFL. I have a couple of decent years and win a couple of MVPs, but we won our first Grey Cup, come back the next year. But the turning point for me was winning my first Grey Cup. Like the drive that really kick-started was we got the ball back with a minute and change to go against Edmonton. We're going into a 35-mile-an-hour win. We had to go the length of the field with no timeouts, all that stuff. And we go down the field to win that game. And then we blow doors in the Grey Cup and win my our first championship. So that was kind of it was just a very special moment for me, that whole sequence of events. The following year, I'm expecting to win back-to-back We're good. We're the best team in the league. We have a terrible weather game against Edmonton at Calgary. The Grey Cup's going to be in Calgary that year. We had a couple of fumbles, and I throw a bad pick down by the goal line. I don't remember when it was, somewhere in the middle of the game, but we should have scored. And we wound up losing that game. And I just felt like the whole world hated me. And I was as low as, everyone in Cal. I didn't want to go out. But I had a speaking engagement that week that I had scheduled at a school. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't even want to, can I get out of there? I got to go. Right. And it was the greatest thing ever, because I went, I saw the kids didn't care. I'm sure, people are disappointed, but it was great to be out and see the kids and hear people's comments and how they, supported you. And it's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. And you get inside your own head sometimes.
Yeah, we're our harshest critics. Yeah, that's so true.
Everybody's had those moments. Guys that drop a touchdown pass, guys that throw the bad interception, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The position of QB is the one that, even if you're not a sports fan, you know the name of that quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, that's the person who's famous. And as a result, all the pressure goes on this guy. We've seen a heartbreak after heartbreak. Every team that doesn't make it, and in this season, that isn't going to make it to the playoffs, isn't going to make it to the Super Bowl. You watch the quarterback, and you just see this defeat, right? There's tears, there's apologies. Do you ever talk to these guys and like try to help them figure out how to move past that kind of disappointment and loss?
I don't get the opportunity to do that as much as I'd like. More than anything, I've been around Boston College quarterbacks in that scenario where they're struggling and pull the guy off to the side for a second and just give him some words of encouragement or whatnot. You as a quarterback, and Tom Brady proved it more than anyone. Tom won Super Bowls with guys that were considered mediocre wide receivers in the NFL until they played with Tom Brady, right? And that's kind of what I see with what Drake May's doing this year. It just shows you if the quarterback's decision. Now, there's things that are out of your control. Sometimes the other team is just better, and you can try as hard as you. And that's where Sam Darnold would throw all his interest. He's still trying to win a game that is unwinnable. That you're getting beat up front, you're getting hit, and that's why those seasons happen. But you take the brunt of it and all that. But a quarterback can elevate his team. A quarterback can make everyone around him better when he puts them in the right pass protections. He puts his offensive line in a position to be successful. When he's getting the ball out in rhythm and on time with good reads, he's getting the ball in his receivers' hands early. They're making easier catches. It's all this stuff happens. So a quarterback can elevate an entire team and make them better. And that's why it's such a quarterback-driven league. And it's a position that takes all the brunt of the blame, but a lot of the credit too when they win.